I'm gonna be mad if you allow me to skip cutscenes in my first walkthrough, okay? I myself, I'm gonna be mad. Now you, me, everybody in this room, including Lulu, knows what I look like. A total twink. You're all aware of the news that are coming out about God of War, how they're getting remastered and all that. They got leaked by some leaker that is apparently trustworthy. He's been leaking other stuff before. So today's video is going to be about that. It's going to be a simplistic quality of life video, what to add to the God of War remasters. It's not going to be anything that big, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like, yo, it fixed this very problematic thing by editing the code a lot, by diving into the values, numbers and all that. Cough, cough, God of War 1 Clone War. Cough, cough, God of War 2 translator taking collision damage, you know how it is. Today's video is just going to be simplistic stuff, just simple quality of life changes that me and a lot of other players that have been playing these games for 15 plus years are going to need. Well, we've been playing them for these amount of years. We're going to need some changes, please, to keep on playing them now without having to resort to PC mods and all that to do all these things. A lot of people, including Santa Monica's team, I'm pretty sure, they all remember the rebellion we did for God of War remasters and all that.
You don't need to bring the old games to the modern consoles and...
In that video, a lot of us stated that we just want remasters. While that would be enough, there's still room to add some things in that are gonna be very simplistic, you know, if the games are not finished being developed. Even if they are being developed, today's climate will allow for a day one patch, so what's stopping you from listening to this video and hopefully adding them if they have gone gold but you're just waiting for an announcement? Which, by the way, don't get too mad about them getting leaked for the 20th anniversary. Even my grandma's cat's cousin can predict that the God of Wars are going to be remastered for the 20th anniversary. Come on, like come on. I said something in that video as a joking type of thing. I was joking off when I said it.
Oh.
You know, I'd really love it if you guys would add a cutscene skipping option. Even in vanilla ones, not just the New Game Plus like God of War 2, but just a thought for this remastering that you guys might be doing. That's about it. Thank you very much. Now that might have been a joke included at the very end of the skit and all that, but it does hold some truth to it. Cutscene skipping is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, but before I do that, let's just dive into them, you know, in a simplistic manner. I'm going to be naming some things that are going to be easy to add, and please add them for like the entirety of the package, because I heard it's a lot of God of Wars coming out, and Corey's not happy about those. Oh, Corey is holding the devil's pot of tea right now. To start off, the very, very simplistic one, the cardinal sin that Santa Monica has been going with for every God of War since the release of the first game is the cutscenes and how they're not skippable. Now here's something that I understand. When you don't allow me to skip cutscenes, it is fine. Whoever the dev is that is watching this video right now, it's fine that you don't allow me to skip cutscenes for the first playthrough. When you don't allow me to skip cutscenes for multiple future playthroughs, which I've been doing for the past 15 years, mind you, for all the God of Wars, it is a cardinal sin to not allow me to skip it in an action game that's practically begging to be replayed in multiple challenge runs, speed runs, God knows what runs. Every action game allows it. That is basically action game design 101. Please add it to every God of War, and not the cookie cutter type of cutscene skipping like God of War Ascension, where you only allow me to skip the, you know, CG cutscenes and not allow me to skip the in-game cutscenes and all that. Please add a proper cutscene skip. God of War 2 was the only one that allowed it, but only for New Game Plus. Please add it for vanilla, and even Lulu's getting mad that there are no cutscene skips. Matter of fact, hold on. Quick point of reference. I'm already dressed up with my work. Here's Lulu. Lulu, tell them what you think about cutscene skipping. That's right. We all run away from cutscenes. So that's that. We really, really want cutscene skipping, a proper one. Like, don't allow me to I'm gonna be mad if you allow me to skip cutscenes in my first walkthrough, okay? I myself, I'm gonna be mad. Just allow it on future playthroughs. Whatever playthroughs. It doesn't have to be New Game Plus, please. It's very easy to add into the code. It's very, 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 very easy. Give the source code to me. I'm gonna add it myself, I swear. Please add cutscene skips like Ready at Dawn. Basically just kind of go talk to them, consult them about how to add a cutscene skipping option, you know, after the first playthrough, because the Ready at Dawn's games, they allowed it. They allowed you to skip cutscenes after you finish the game once. It doesn't matter if you entered very hard again for the first time, you can still skip cutscenes, because that's where the replayability comes. Me and a lot of other players that are going to be replaying the games for eternity, basically. we're gonna need cutscene skipping, please. Thank you very much. I know, you making them unskippable have kind of done a good thing on me where I memorized literally every line of the cutscenes and all that, but please allow me to skip them. Now, I wholeheartedly believe this next one is just a no-brainer, and it is the photo mode. God of War 3 has one of my favorite photo modes ever, as you can probably see with the screenshots I'm putting up on the screen right now. I know this is a high flex, but trust me, the photo mode is... I'm gonna need photo mode for God of War 1 and 2, especially 2. My God, look at this game. Oh my God. And then look at this setting. And the skybox. Ooh. God of War 2 having a photo mode. Wow. Ascension having a photo mode. Wowzers. I'm gonna get to Ascension, by the way. After this section where I mentioned some stuff that are gonna be easy to add in, I'm gonna go into the games one by one for things to be added in these games one by one. It's also gonna be simplistic. Don't be scared. I'm not gonna ask you to add damage to the air grab of the satyrs in God of War 1. I'm not gonna go that far, even though it shouldn't be that far, but like... So yeah. Photo mode, if it's not there, it is what it is, but I wholeheartedly want it to be there, please. It's a very cute system. It's a very cute thing. I have a title of the best God of War photographer in the community. If you care about me, Santa Monica. Even Lulu approves. Hey! So the third thing is something already available in God of War 2, but I want it in all the other God of Wars as well. Like, for example, actually, hell, this is available in every God of War other than 1. So I should have saved this for God of War 1, but like, generally, we need New Game Plus to God of War 1. We need it back to God of War 1. Because on the PS2 port, you could actually access New Game Plus via a cheat code. Why did you remove that in the PS3 port? You catching my drift? You drifting my catching, but drifting? You're drifting with my catch? So yeah, add a proper New Game Plus to God of War 1. If the package includes God of War 3, which I don't really know why it would include God of War 3. I hope it doesn't. If it does, I hope it does. And it has cutscene skips, which I'm gonna be in your headquarters the next day. I'm gonna kiss the baldest part of Corey's ass if that happens. So yeah, very self-explanatory. Now for the last one, which it might be hard. Okay, you know, this one might be hard. This one might need a lot of tweaking for the coding and all that. And it's simply a randomizer. Imagine giving us a randomizer, or hell, making a very, very hard difficulty. You have a very hard difficulty. Imagine if you went the extra mile and gave us the very, very hard difficulty. Now, how would that be, yo? Like, we have enemies repositioned and all that, like every other action game. Not every other, but like a lot of other action games reposition enemies. That would open a whole new world for me and a lot of people that replay the games a lot. It's gonna be amazing. So, a very, very hard difficulty and a randomizer, please. I'm sure they're not going to be that easy to implement, but I'm sure they're going to require mostly a month work for God of War, for each God of War. So please work on it. I really love you. I would love to have these things on, and you're going to get infinite advertisement from my end and every gameplay side of YouTube's end. So please, a randomizer, a very, very hard difficulty first, then a randomizer. And if you don't do none of these, it's still fine. I'm still gonna ride these games, yo. But it would be very, very fun if you would add it. Now I'm gonna move on to something else. I'm gonna name the games individually, and I'm gonna ask for stuff for you to add. And I'm not gonna be talking about the Ready at Dawn games. It is what it is. I'm only gonna talk about God of War 1, God of War 2, and God of War Ascension. Very simplistic stuff. It's not gonna be that hard, especially for God of War 1, please. So to start up quickly with God of War 1, please, there's something very important that I really, really want added in this remastered, and it's for you to allow me to use costumes on very hard, or you can even add more costumes. This is something I want to say. Add as much things as you want with the costumes. I'm sure it's gonna be easy. It's just tweaking some of the numbers and all that. Collisions are gonna be altered and all that. Just get creative with it, please. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But generally, this first point for God of War 1 is that allow me to use costumes on very hard. The initial game does not allow that for whatever reason, but now please allow me to use it on very hard. Allow me to use any costume on very hard. It's gonna be very fun. Something else I'm gonna want in God of War 1 is to speed up the upgrading process, because it's very, very slow for whatever reason. I guess it was for loading reasons on the PS2. Never got fixed with the PS3 port. So that's that. The third thing I want fixed for God of War 1, hopefully you can fix it for me. I'm gonna be very thankful if you could fix it for me. Whenever you grabbed enemies after having more than 10 hits in God of War 1 on PS2, you could get brutal kills after killing him with a grab. On the PS3 port, that is no such thing. That got completely removed, and I hope it gets added back into the port. If it doesn't get added back, it is what it is, as I'm saying, but that's about it for God of War 1. Let's just move on to God of War 2. So now we enter off what to add to God of War 2, and it is going to be something that you're going to have to remove from God of War 2. Burn the Now, but seriously, on a real note, God of War 2 is so perfect that I literally could not think of anything to add to God of War 2. Like, it is so good. The only thing I'm gonna ask for is something that could probably go for God of War 1 as well, and it's just adding subtitles into the game. Adding subtitles is gonna be very good for the new audience that are gonna get in. Not me, of course. I've memorized literally every single line in the game, but like, a lot of people are gonna need it. Subtitles for God of War 2, why not? God of War 1 as well, honestly, yeah. God of War 2, I can't think of a lot to add. I can think of a lot to add or remove, but it's gonna be very complicated. I should probably so safely move on right now before diving into a realm of possibilities that is just simply way too far from a remaster port that we're probably gonna get. I doubt we're gonna get a lot of crazy things. And if we get any crazy things, it's the 4 things I mentioned at the start of the video. So let's move on to God of War Ascension. Now, with God of War Ascension, we all know you don't want to touch it up. You don't want to touch up God of War Ascension and talk, you know, get deep into what you want to add and fix and remove and all that. So again, very simplistic things. Like God of War Ascension, what I'm going to need for God of War Ascension is, again, mentioning the cutscene skipping, but a proper cutscene skipping. I know I mentioned this at the start, but for Ascension, it especially hurts because the thing is there. You can actually skip cutscenes in Ascension. You get into the pause menu mid cutscenes and you skip cutscenes, but only the CG cutscenes. You cannot skip the in-game cutscenes, which are a lot. Besides that, it's going to be a meme thing that I'm going to add for God of War Ascension at the very end right here, and it's to literally make everything deal 3 times the damage, because my god, your damage is poor on the hardest difficulty. So make everything deal 3 times as much damage. It should be more, but I'm sure if you increase everything to 5 times the damage, which should be fair for a lot of the options that you have in the game, it's not gonna be that good. It's gonna be way too broken. So that's all that I'm gonna say, honestly. Just like increase everything's damage by 3 times. That's all that I have for God of War Ascension. I have a lot more that we could fix, we could get into. You can hit me up via email. I'm gonna fly to Sony Wait, I can't actually do that. You guys should fly to where I live. On some real note, you can hit me via emails and we can talk a lot about the in-depth intricacies about God of War. This is way beyond me trying to get acknowledged by the dev team. I really love your dev team, but there's just a lot to fix if we're getting into the nitty and gritty of Ascension or even God of War 1 and even God of War 2. Trust me, there's a lot to go over. I'm not going to go over it right now. I just named some quality of life changes at the start of the video, then got specific with God of War 1 and 2 and Ascension. Hold on, get out! I got way too specific with God of War 1 and 2 and Ascension with some more quality of life changes. At the start of the video, I went with like overall things. I'm not gonna dive deep into a lot of the things that we need to get edited. It's gonna need a lot of diving into the source code and touching up numbers and all that. I'm sure you don't want to do that for a remastered. If you want to do that, hit me up. I swear this is not to flex or anything, but I've done a lot of challenge runs to know a lot about God of War. A lot about God of War than the average player. So I would really be honored as well to get some review copies and to actually talk with you guys about what to change about the combat, what to fix, what was broken. Like, it was a joke that I mentioned adding damage to the God of War 1 Satyr air grab, but that is truthfully a thing in God of War 1. Air grabs on the Satyrs don't deal damage. Some collision attacks don't deal the full collision that they should deal. If you want to talk about these deep intricacies, we can go all day, like God of War Ascension's petrification being absolutely ass. It's, you petrify an enemy, it takes you so long to do that, then your reward is not a simple shatter. No, the health is still a long amount of health. So you can go with that route, or you can expand on God of War Ascension's multiplayer, which I hope you don't. That's something we all hate. That's something you hate yourself. So yeah, that's about it. If you even add God of War 3 into this hyper collection that you're about to make, add New Game Plus, please. And for the cutscene skipping, there's a lot of in-game cutscenes for God of War 3. Do the same thing as I mentioned in Ascension. Add a cutscene skip, but for the in-game cutscenes as well, and not just the CG cutscenes. This has been Extreme Gameplays. This has been your extreme gamer, Nemean Zestus. I hope you reach out. Truthfully, if you don't reach out, I hope you watch this video and take notes. While I take notes on the marijuana smoke, thought you wanna smoke, gun smoke, Extreme Gameplays, the player, the smoke player, the hookah layer, motherfucker say it prayers. This has been Extreme Gameplays. Peace.